Dear Sarah.
Dear Michaela.
Dear Alex.
Dear Kyla.
Dear Maggie.
Wow. I would say, good job. You've come such a long way in gymnastics.
I would just tell her that I appreciate her falling in love with the sport when I was 3 and 4 years old.
Going up and competing here at the National Championship, we're just inspiring all the little girls at home, watching in the stands, and to know that there's a bigger purpose.
You do realize that this is hard, this is a commitment, and this is something that you really have to want.
That's kind of how I was raised in club, like, how can you do it the best? College has been a fun aspect of trying to make my gymnastics beauty versus just powerful.
What I would tell this little girl is to follow your dreams, have fun with what you're doing, and enjoy the ride.
I just wish that she would have known that she would have been a great role model to all the little girls out there, and, you know, just to keep fighting and being a good example to everybody.
And to all the little girls who are at this point, like, stick with it. You have no idea how far it's going to take you.
Welcome to the 2018 NCAA Women's Gymnastics Championship. We are inside the Chaffetz Arena on the campus of St. Louis University for our live coverage of the 2018 Super 6 Finals. Hi everybody, I'm Bart Connor along with Kathy Johnson-Clark. Well, Kathy, all season long we've been waiting for this moment. The best 6 teams on the floor all competing at the same time.
And we thought the semifinals were exciting. These teams fought so hard to be on the floor in the Super 6. And if you take a look at Oklahoma, the very dominant team, they just picked up where they left off last year. So consistent, so clean, through a lot of difficulty throughout the competition. And of course they have Maggie Nichols, the all-around champion, who came up with a perfect 10 in her final routine in the semifinals. That's just one of the reasons why they are so dominant in this competition.
Let's take a look at the headlines of some of the 5 other contenders.
Well, take a look right there. I think I nicknamed Florida because that has been their nemesis all season long. And their response, they're going to go bigger. They're going to add some upgrades, and I think that's going to be great for them. UCLA, star power. And if the stars align, they can be magical on the floor. Up against LSU, they are all heart. That has been their motto all season long. They're very consistent. Utah's going to fight like warriors, and Nebraska, well, for them, it's go big or go home. First time here since 2014.
All right, the stage is set. Let's go to the 3rd member of our broadcast team, Laura Rutledge.
Well, Bart, Oklahoma knows they're capable of a 3rd championship, and so do all the other teams here. But these other teams are adamant that they should not be doubted. UCLA's head coach Val Condos-Field said she wasn't going to check in on social media at all while she was here, but felt compelled to pick up Twitter today. And when she did, the first thing that popped up was the verse Philippians 4:6 that talks about not being anxious and being thankful for everything. That was the exact same verse that she used as encouragement when she was beating breast cancer. She said she immediately knew that would be their mantra for today. And for Florida and LSU, they say, hey, keep thinking that we're dark horses. Keep thinking that we're underdogs. We're here to bring all heart, as Kathy mentioned. And also, they say they're going to leave it all out on the floor. They have nothing to lose, and you never know what can happen.
It will certainly be an exciting and emotional night as many of these senior athletes are competing for the final time in their careers. We start the first rotation when we come back to St. Louis. The NCAA Women's Gymnastics Championships is brought to you by Sam Adams, Fill Your Glass, Bass Pro Shops, and Cabela's. Your adventure starts here. And the DQ Chicken Strip Basket with 100% all-white meat chicken only at your DQ. And here are images of some of the winners of the 36 years of these championships. Only 6 different universities have won all 36 titles. You're watching the 2018 NCAA Women's Gymnastics Championship. We are getting set to go in the Super 6 final. Here is the format here. 6 teams compete in each semifinal. The top 3 advance to tonight's Super 6 final. Teams compete on all 4 events in 6 rotations, and each team has 2 buys. Now, there are 6 judges on each event, which is unusual. Normally during the regular season, there are only 2 judges. So in this case, they throw the high and the lower scores out, and they average the 4 scores in the middle. 6 gymnasts for each team will compete on each event with the lowest score out of that group being dropped on that event. So a lot going on tonight here in St. Louis as we get ready to crown the best of the best in women's collegiate gymnastics. Go down to Laura Rutledge.
Well, Bart, one of the unique things about this event is that it's on podium, which means all the apparatus is about 3 feet up in the air. It makes it bouncier. A lot of the gymnasts like it a lot, especially at this point in the season. It's a little easier on their bodies, but it does require a little more patience and control. Now, the SECs were here in this arena, and they were on podium. Different equipment, though, but SEC teams have a lot of experience on podium, as do some of these other teams. The Pac-12 teams, though, not as much podium experience. Either way, they love it. It makes them feel like they're up on a stage. Their teammates, when they would usually be even with them on the floor, are down below them. So they truly are the focal point as we have 4 events going on at once, which, as we all know, is quite crazy.
Thank you, Laura. You have 4 apparatus going on at the same time, and we're going to have commentary from our 4 gymnast turn analysts. You can catch all the action streaming live on the ESPN app. And get this, folks, we have Lauren Sisler covering the beam, and 3 Olympians. John Roethlisberger will be providing commentary on the floor, Bridget Sloan on the bars, and Alicia Sacramone-Quinn on the vault. So we are set to go, Kathy. Let's talk about the storyline today.
Well, I tell you what, with all those gymnasts that we just saw commentating each event and us, we remember what it's like, the start of competition, that adrenaline that you feel, and you want to use it. You want to use it to your benefit, but you also have to rein in those nerves, and depending on the event you start on. All 4 events in gymnastics are very different. They use a different kind of energy, a different kind of focus, and they have to dial those in so that they start this competition strong.
Let's ID where these teams start. Florida will open up on the vault. UCLA is on a bye. Oklahoma starts on that critical event, the balance beam. LSU is on a bye. Utah will open up on the floor, and Nebraska opens up on the bars. So here we are set to go. It is a 4-ring circus, but we have it covered. Make sure you launch your ESPN app if you're interested in following your specific team or your favorite event. Here we go.
And on the top left, that's Megan Skaggs of Florida starting them off on vault with a very big Yurchenko fold. There was a hop on the landing. So keep in mind, all those tenths of a point on landings and form and execution are going to add up.
Stephanie Couture for the Oklahoma Sooners in that critical lead-off position. She was impressive with a 9.8875 in yesterday's semifinal. What a great way to start off that team.
Oklahoma is ranked number 1 on beam. They were a little nervy, is the way KJ Kindler described them on beam. It was the first time their season they had to start on balance beam. So at least they have some experience there. They want to control their nerves a little bit more.
Couture, the senior from Phoenix, Arizona.
Very solid so far. Notice how aggressively she goes into those skills and finishes them just as aggressively. Excellent start for Oklahoma with a nice gainer full to a stuck landing.
That is so crucial. A solid leadoff performance can calm the rest of the team down. In contrast, if they are nervous, it could inject a little of that doubt into their minds, Kathy.
Well, nothing but solid on that first performance for Oklahoma. Exactly what they need.
Oklahoma known for their consistent work on the beam. We go back to Florida now. Amelia Hundley set to go for the Gators on vault. Megan Skaggs was their leadoff performer.
Now keep in mind, on vault, each of the vaults have a start value score. Most of the vaults we're going to see will have a start value of 995. Many of the gymnasts do a Yurchenko full, which is the vault Amelia Hundley's going to do right now. We will see a few more difficult ones with a start value of 10.0. Look for height and distance off the table. Very nicely done. Good technique. Nice form. Just a little half hop.
Hundley, the sophomore from Hamilton, Ohio, does her job.
Very nice position all the way through the vault. Good distance from the table and just a half hop. The judges will deduct depending on the size of that step or hop on the landing.
Ward off to a good start there. Hundley, the 3-time All-American, competed in every meet for Florida this year.
You've noticed the judges have to get warmed up as well. Really got a very difficult job separating these gymnasts and assessing these routines. Some have more difficulty than others. Some are cleaner and more technically perfect.
Danielle Breen led off Nebraska on the bars with a 7.875. Kinsey Roby now.
On the uneven bars, you want to see swing that looks easy and high release moves. They need to show that amplitude and perfect handstand positions.
This is an event where they can improve from yesterday's semifinal. They had a score just barely over 49. You want to be in that 49-4 range or plus.
Very solid routine here. Hit all of her hands. Hit beautiful double eight, a little bit stiff-legged on the landing and had to take a hop.
Jasmine Foberg now for Florida on vault.
Another Yurchenko full. Beautiful technique. What a block off that table and so extended through her body. This is what you want to see.
9-8, Kathy, excuse me.
Look how straight the body is, so tight all the way through the twist. She remains in that laid out position. Nicely done.
Huntley had a 9-8, Megan Skaggs a 9.775. Keep in mind, a score of 198 is kind of the magic score in gymnastics. That means a 9.9 average. And so we'll be looking today to see how many teams are notching 9.9s or better, because chances are it'll take a team in that 198 total score range to have a shot at the championship. Oklahoma has been over 198 9 times this year.
This is Kari Lee on the floor exercise for Utah. Finishing. Double twist to a layout step out. Really nice routine. Floor exercise was a good event for Utah in the semis. It was where they were most relaxed.
Alicia Bourne had an outstanding meet for Florida in the semifinals yesterday. She's getting set to go the junior from New Jersey. You see her score there, 9.925 yesterday.
It was the vault of the season for her. She finally got that stuck landing on this very difficult 1.5 twist. She will land facing away from the table. Line landing and a beautiful job. 2 in a row, good for her. That is the kind of vault that really injects the entire team. Really dialed this one in. Just a little bit of knee bend as she went to that landing, but wow, no movement.
And Florida travels well, as they say. They have 3 times won the national championship. This year, if they're going to win it, they're going to have to do it without Kennedy Baker, who is one of their stars who tore her Achilles tendon during this season. And so not as much depth as Florida is used to having as we go back to Oklahoma on the beam. Stephanie Couture had that 9.875. Brianna Showers followed with the exact same score. So Oklahoma on this critical opening event, really impressive so far.
Nicole Lehrman has such beautiful, original, very creative work on balance beam.
Had an amazing performance yesterday. The junior from Austin, Texas, finished 7th in beam. They awarded the individual and all-around championships during yesterday's semifinals. Her score was good enough for 7.
Watch for the acrobatic series. Oh, aerial walkover. She would have connected that now. Cat leap to switch leg side. That's her leap series.
As she's continuing her routine, Missy Reinstadler now for Utah on floor. Their top scorer over there so far is Kari Lee's 9.8125. A fall for Oklahoma, such a rarity.
Extremely rare. Remember, you can drop 1 low score per apparatus. This is an absolutely beautiful floor routine. The Judges are looking for perfectly controlled landings on the tumbling pass, and the positions in those leaps are so crucial. You have to show a full split with perfectly straight legs and pointed toes.
Utah has won 10 times the national title, once when it was the AIAW, and 9 times during the NCAA championships. Rachel Slocum for Florida on vault.
Rachel does a front pike with a half twist. Huge vault for Florida, and a great one.
We saw before her, Alicia Boren had a 9.9375, so expect a big score for Slocum as well.
And a beautiful finish to a lovely routine.
Florida having a superb opening rotation here. The lowest score, 9.775, but the score is in for Rachel Slocum. It's a 9.9125. Impressive.
And Alex McMurtry was the anchor for Florida. She became the national vault champion or co-champion last night. Very, very difficult on this double twist. Look at the height. 5.5 feet. Last night she was 6 feet up. Didn't quite get the landing here, but check out the distance from the table. That's huge.
And she shared part of the three-way tie for first there. Alex McMurtry, Michaela Skinner, and Brenna Dow all earning the same score and the NCAA title on that event. A moment ago, Taylor Houchin on bars for Nebraska. Their high score is Megan Schweihalter so far in 9.8625.
And they really need a couple bigger scores right now to keep them in the, oh no, a missed element. Went over on that handstand. Here's her release move. Getting back into the swing of the routine nicely. Oh, a little long in that handstand. Boy, she is being aggressive on those cast to handstands. Really hit that last one nicely. Beautiful form in the full pirouette through double tuck.
The regional champion on bars, 9.975, as we go back to Oklahoma. Following the fall from Nicole Ehrman, now enormous pressure on Natalie Brown. That 9.2 is the score they'd like to drop, but that means these next 3 routines from Brown, Webb, and Nichols have to be superb. Good on to Laura Rutledge.
KJ Kindler talking to Natalie Brown right before this, Barton, saying just breathe, take a couple deep breaths. She actually made her take the deep breaths. And Kathy, as you know, sometimes breathing can help so much in pressure situations on beam.
Absolutely. Anything that takes you back to your training, and so that you can trust that training in these pressure situations.
See the look of determination on her face. There was only one other time this season that Oklahoma looked vulnerable on beam, and that was in the Perfect 10 Challenge in the middle of February against Nebraska. They had 2 falls, which is a rarity for the Sooners.
You can see the look of determination, not only on her face, but in her movement. Very, very sharp, very crisp, taking absolutely nothing for granted. Beautiful Sisson right into the gainer full. Very nice clutch performance.
Especially after that mistake from Lehrman. So the Sooners have 3 solid hit routines, but they'll need 2 more. And the next young lady will be a freshman coming up. A moment ago, Sienna Kraus for Nebraska after Taylor Houchin had an unfortunate 9.5.
And yesterday, Sienna, this was a missed opportunity for them. Nice Weiler kip there. You don't often see those in women's gymnastics. Beautiful high Ginger. Oh no, she touched the mat. That will be a sizable deduction. It was a missed opportunity. She had troubles yesterday on this event. Solid half in, half out. But that will not be the big score they wanted.
Dan Kendick in his 25th year as the head coach. Thrilled to be in this competition for the first time in the Super 6 final since back in 2014. But not the start that the Cornhuskers had hoped for after a exhausting but thrilling performance in the semifinal where they really hit some clutch routines down the stretch to earn a right into this session. They beat out Georgia and Alabama in that final rotation. It was a thriller.
And it absolutely started at regional. They had a huge regional competition just 2 weeks before to get here.
Highest score in 5 years in that region. As we go back to Utah on floor, McKenna Merrill Giles and Anastasia Webb, a freshman from the Chicagoland area, on beam for the Sooners. Important moment here as Natalie Brown scores in a 9.85.
Nice open tumbling run, beautiful pike full in. You want to see that level of difficulty in the tumbling from these top teams.
This is what's so fantastic about the Super 6 final. The 6 best teams all competing in the same meet, in the same session. So we're seeing literally comparison of the best against the best.
Anastasia is absolutely solid as can be. Again, attacking aggressively. A little bit of a lean there. Out of the front aerial, but handled it beautifully.
And an unfortunate out of bounds for McKenna Merrill Giles. 3 scores, 9-8 plus for Utah. That'll put a lot of pressure on their final performer, which is, of course, Michaela Skinner.
Aerial cartwheel to a full, and a stuck landing. Another clutch performance for Oklahoma.
So the Sooners have 4 hit routines.
Lined that up just beautifully and made certain those feet didn't move.
Let's go back to Oklahoma. Maggie Nichols, the all-around champion and a sentimental favorite for many reasons, will be the final performer as she gets a few notes from Coach KJ Kindler in her 12th year as the head coach, shooting for their 3rd straight NCAA championship and their 4th in 5 years.
It's beautiful seeing the video at the beginning of the show of them when they were little girls, little gymnasts. And it's a reminder to all of us why they do this sport, but also with Maggie Nichols, the extreme, incredible training that they've had from early on. There's such good basics in their gymnastics, and that's what you rely on in moments like this. You focus on your training, you trust it, you breathe, as KJ Kindler just reminded her to do. Smile, that relaxes you.
Anastasia Webb score in an impressive 9.9125. So Oklahoma's fate in this team competition will rely a lot on what Maggie Nichols can do right now. They need a hit. They're trying to replace that low score of 9-2.
And if you're going to put that kind of pressure on anyone, it's a Maggie Nichols. She can handle this kind of pressure. You have to embrace it. We'll walk over to split jump.
We mentioned that Florida had a terrific performance in vault in the first rotation. Means Nichols needs better than a 9-9 to take the lead in this rotation over Florida.
Just a tiny little, I wouldn't even call it a break, just a slight hesitation, an additional arm movement out of her acro series.
At a 9.95 in yesterday's semifinal, as Michaela Skinner starts for Utah on floor as we speak.
And Michaela Skinner is going to do the most difficult tumbling pass you will see in this competition by far. Double twisting, double back. Quick as can be. She is like a cat in the air. She knows exactly where the floor is. And there is Maggie Nichols finishing with utter perfection.
Nichols, another stuck routine and 6 perfectly stuck landings for the Sooners in that opening rotation.
1.5 twist through to double twist. Love to see those 2 athletes share the screen. 2 of the best in women's collegiate gymnastics right now. just like Oklahoma counts on Maggie Nichols to anchor them with superior routines. This is, in terms of level of difficulty, it is the best in terms of her tumbling difficulty. Full in at the end of the routine. Back-to-back days with just wickedly hard tumbling passes.
The sophomore from Gilbert, Arizona, twice. Second place finish in the all-around. She's such a solid all-around gymnast, but her power is just remarkable, Kathy.
This is just fun. Don't you wish you could do this? Fly through the air, flip twice, twist twice, and magically find the landing. I love this one just as much. 1.5 twists. And again, just quick twisting. Her air awareness is phenomenal.
Expect a good score for her, but how about this for Maggie Nichols? 9.9125. What a clutch performance. They replaced the 9.2 after the fall for Lehrman, and Oklahoma with a 49.425 will just get a very slight edge over Florida in this first of 6 rotations. Let's go down to Laura Rutledge. She's with Nebraska's coach, Dan Kendick.
Coach, after an incredible performance yesterday in semifinals, how has your team started today?
Well, if you watch bars, it wasn't our typical bars yesterday or today, to be honest with you. But you know what? It's a great event. We're in this. We're happy to be here at that point. But I'm telling you what, this team will not stop fighting. So we're going to keep going through this whole thing. And I just think they were a little tight first event and tried a little too hard. But you know what? They're competitors. We'll see what happens going forward.
What's important in bringing that fight to Beam?
Just the confidence. They're confident on that event, and it shouldn't affect them at all.
Thanks so much, Coach.
Thank you.
And here is the score after the first of 6 rotation. Oklahoma with a lead of 125 ten-thousandths of a point over Florida. That's close, baby. That 125 ten-thousandths of a point is the closest margin you can get when you average 4 scores in the middle, and that's what Oklahoma has over Florida. Utah in 3rd, Nebraska in 4th. UCLA and LSU were on byes in that rotation. Anastasia Webb, what a clutch routine for her after the fall from Nicole Lehrman.
They were both beautiful and beastly in this comeback. If they were feeling pressure, it did not show. Maggie Nichols followed that up with ice water in her veins. Made that little check, but was not going to go any farther than that. Look at that landing. Sheer perfection.
Florida was the 2nd highest qualifier in the semifinals, and boy, Kathy, an incredible start on vault for the Gators.
I think people wondered if Florida could do it again. Back-to-back days of outstanding vaulting. Found these landings so perfectly.
And Michaela Skinner, always a highlight on floor, ends up with a 9.925.
She can just dial this routine in whenever she likes. Extreme difficulty from start to finish, and the energy that it takes to perform this kind of floor routine.
So we're partying here in St. Louis. We're getting ready for the 2nd of 6 rotations. UCLA joins the hunt, and so does LSU.
I feel like sometimes if I don't have enough pressure on me, then the wobbles and the stress kind of starts coming out. So I do like competing under the pressure a lot better.
I kind of like it because it gives you like a little more energy and a little more spunk. So I use that to my advantage.
During a meet, we always talk about taking it like one routine at a time and one event at a time.
We really just try to go out there and hit our routines, stay calm, and just to hit our best routines when we're under the highest amount of pressure.
I feel like pressure isn't that big of a factor. I think that we're all just here and having fun.
If we just focus on ourselves and being there for each other and having good energy and good connections with each other, then all our gymnastics falls into place.
We've
We've already seen Oklahoma, the reigning national champs, deal with immense pressure here on balance beam. Their motto for the day, good vibes only, and it seems like they're capitalizing on those good vibes. Now, Valcondo's field for UCLA, of course, they're out here now. They're about to head to the floor. She says the thing about gymnastics is you can't play gymnastics like other sports. That makes the pressure greater. It's all on you and the apparatus that you're dealing with.
Thank you, Laura. Well, Coach Valcondo's field, known as Miss Val, formerly a dance choreographer, has created a pretty incredible program at UCLA. It'll be fun to watch on the floor in this rotation, and 6 times she's led them to the NCAA championship. Once again, all 4 events going simultaneously. We have it all covered with commentary from our 4 gymnast turn analysts. Catch all the action streaming live on the ESPN app.
And that's Sammy Durante over on the uneven bars for LSU. Very strong event for them. Great landing on that first vault. Utah is off to a really good start there as well.
In this rotation, Florida is on a bye, so is Oklahoma.
Nebraska trying to come back from the unfortunate events on the uneven bars. This is Madison Koshin on floor exercise, and this is a delightful routine. It will put a smile on your face. She opens with a front double twist. I feel like I'm sitting in a lounge. Piano player over in the corner.
Koshin had a labrum surgery last August. And so she has worked her way into the lineup. She competed on beam several times and then into the floor lineup, and she was in the uneven bars yesterday, but did not have her best performance.
Back 1.5 to nice high floaty front layout.
Murray Lee coming up for Utah on vault. She's coming after Missy Reinstatler had a 9.8.
Chenko full, a little bit off center to the left, but nice form in the air and a really good landing.
Koshin, an Olympic medalist and world champion. She is one of 2 Olympic champions competing for UCLA along with Kyla Ross. First time last year was the first time in collegiate history that one collegiate team had 2 Olympic gold medalists on it. Just a moment ago, Maya Hamrick on bars after Sammy Durante had a 9.775. Now LSU is really strong on this event, Kathy.
Huge release move to open the routine, really trying to hit those handstands. Sammy before her was just a little bit off of her normal routine, so they need to settle down. Nice final handstand there. Half in, half out, and finds the landing. Well done, Jay Clark. Likes it.
#1 team in the country and the best uneven bars in LSU history with this team this year.
Those landings are going to be so crucial to total team scores because they just add up.
There is Jay Clark, associate head coach in his 6th season. Been an important contributing factor to the success of LSU. Tiffany Lewis now. Kari Lee had a 9.8375.
The first half of Utah's lineup, they all do the Yurchenko full. Start value 9.95. And then we'll see some 1.5s at the end of their lineup. Good fight for that landing. Didn't quite get it. They'll take off for that hop.
Ruby Harold now for bars after Maya Hamrick scores in a 9.875.
Nice cool opening there. Love to see the original work on the uneven bars. Toe on blind. Beautiful hop. Right there to a double front. Almost a perfect landing. Just that one little foot slide back. That's one of her best routines of the year.
Harold, the 2-time Olympian from Great Britain, and she gets the stick crown for sticking her landing on that bar dismount. LSU was second the last 2 years running in these championships to Oklahoma, so they hope to have a shot at winning the title this year. They have dominated the SEC for the last couple of years. Kim Tesson will be next up on vault for Utah.
She'll perform a 1.5 twist with a 10-0 start value. Now this is where teams can really use that to their advantage, that extra half attempt starting value. If they can just get the landing, this could be a big score.
Tesson is a sophomore from Orem, Utah.
Looking for height and distance. Good spot on the landing. Not quite on the landing, had to hop.
She never quite came to a complete stop. She's still moving. Kennedy Edney now, the sophomore from Chino, California.
And boy, did she dial in a great competition yesterday in the semifinals on all 4 events for LSU.
Ruby Harold had a 9.8875 before her.
Wow. She's very powerful on this event. And she does the skill, she does it big, hits that handstand really nicely. The only thing she really has to concentrate on, really locking those knees out. But watch the dismount. Gorgeous layout position. Perfect legs together, and that stick. She just has that technique so tuned into her routine that she hits that landing almost every time.
The third stick in a row for LSU on bars.
Beautiful.
The speed is going to be so close, it often comes down to stuck landings. Every little landing will matter today, as we've seen, with the scores calibrated out to 10,000ths of a point. Megan Schweihofer now for Nebraska on beam. Kinsey Roby led them off with an impressive 9.85. Abby Epperson a 9.0875. Unfortunately, not the score that Nebraska wanted in that second spot.
Height, just a little unsure.
Tyler Ross for UCLA on the floor now as well at the same time.
This is a very powerful and dynamic piece of choreography for Kyla. Watch these leaps, just perfect position in the air.
Scores for UCLA. Koshin had a 9.8375. Gracie Kramer after her 9.8875. Good start.
There are very few gymnasts that have such control with their movement. Kyla is always so spot on, always in the perfect position.
UCLA had the third highest qualifying score into this Super 6 final. And they have the big stars on it, a team that has a shot at the championship today without question.
Wants to go big on this final tumbling run. Land with the chest up high. It's a double back. In pike position. Oh, no. Big break for UCLA, unfortunately. That's a routine they really wanted to count on. Hopefully her ankles are not sore after that short landing.
At a 9.8875 yesterday. Unfortunately, that fall will cost them a half a point for sure. Michaela Skinner, NCAA vault co-champion. She shared the title with 2 others yesterday.
This is our first look at a double twist. 10-0 start value, very difficult. She went for more distance, actually. That looked good. She just got that big hop on the landing they'll have to deduct for.
Coming after McKenna Merrill Giles had their 9.7875. So 2 scores, 9.8 plus for Utah, but nothing huge in terms of scores yet. Lexi Priestman now for LSU on bars. Kennedy Edney, by the way, her score in a 9.95. LSU doing a fantastic job here.
Nice combination there, the back-to-back release move showing good level of difficulty. The judges really have to take into account those that go above and beyond the requirements. Double layout, big dismount,
Oh, and
huge
another
routine.
stuck landing. The fourth stuck landing in a row for LSU. So after that 9.775 for Sammy Durante, LSU has been lights out in the 4 subsequent routines. A moment ago, Sarah Finnegan took to the bars.
Coming after 2 995s. And Sarah is an excellent bar performer, very precise, beautiful amplitude on her. Oh, no. Oh, over on that handstand. Oh, a nice cover, amazingly. So, wow, that is a sign of a true veteran. Having to add a skill to get turned back around. Amazing, and comes up with a stuck landing. It will be a deduction because it was an obvious error, but covered extremely well.
Missed opportunity for a huge score from the normal polished Sarah Finnegan, so they'll likely count the score of Sammy Durante, who led them off.
Pauline Traps opens very strong, good control on those landings.
Put on to Laura Rutledge.
Kyla Ross, after her fall, went up to Pauline Tratz and said, I know you've got my back here. I trust in you. That's the neat thing about collegiate gymnastics. It's a team sport. We're seeing that exhibited with the way UCLA trusts each other.
Pauline Tratz, a former member of the German national team. Very fascinating routine, Kat.
All of these routines are so perfectly choreographed to tell a story, to be so unique, entertaining, very expressive.
Important hit routine for Pauline Tratz after the fall from Kyla Ross. Remember, 6 athletes go on each event. Just the best 5 scores count towards their team total on that event. So an important clutch performance there. There is Miss Val with a couple of notes. '28th season. She got her 500th win with the UCLA Bruins this year. Randy Lane, the 15-year associate head coach as well. 6 times UCLA has won their NCAA championship. They were 4th last year. Danielle Green for Nebraska on the beam. They had that one low score from Abby Epperson, only a 9.0875. The other scores have been over 9.8, so Green and Williams will be their final 2 performers in this rotation. See if they can get it back on track.
She's an interesting acro series, one arm back handspring to the layout step out. Lines it up very well and lands straight-legged. That's not the normal landing you see. She handles it beautifully.
Talked often about how good this team is on beam. Heather Brink, the former NCAA all-around champion back in 2000, is responsible for their good work there.
It's so important to construct a routine, not only that fulfills the special requirements and shows off the athlete's strength, shows good balance, and one that they can be comfortable with, very aggressive.
Danielle Breen won the 2018 Elite 90 Award from the NCAA. And she is pretty much everything in school. Not only a great athlete, but 4.0 grade point average, and every year a community service award winner as well.
Finishes with a round off 1.5 twist, great landing.
There is Heather Brink. Moment ago for UCLA, Felicia Hano, the sophomore from San Gabriel, California, on floor.
And this is one of the most entertaining routines in the competition. Double layout, perfect landing, no movement.
Score in for Pauline Tratch was a 9.8875, what the Bruins needed.
Pull, ready. I love that jump. It's the thing that Ms. Valdez so well combines all the requirements of gymnastics, but integrates it in such unusual, very entertaining choreography.
We saw Felicia Hano score a perfect 10 in the dual meet between UCLA and Oklahoma in February.
And if you watch a home meet at UCLA, they have their entire audience rocking with them. They love this team, love these floor performances. Great job.
Felicia Hano did what they call a legacy routine, which is the same music and choreography of former Bruin Sydney Sawa. And we get set for Caitlin Ohashi, who, with that score of 9.9625, earned a share of the floor exercise national championship yesterday along with Maggie Nichols. Kathy, this is just flat out fun.
You are in for a treat. From the tumbling, like this double layout, and then off she goes and takes us to a party.
Scores in for Hano, it's a 9-9.
In this routine are just so perfect. And those jumps, now those are the kind of things the judges are looking for. They are judging them very closely to see the position and shape in the air, that they get the full turnaround to get credit. Finishes with a front full granny split jump. Yeah, you can laugh now. That is so entertaining. The crowd's on their feet. They love it every time.
That routine has gone viral. In fact, some estimates say as many as 100 million people have viewed that. Laura Rutledge is with Florida's head coach Jenny Rowland right now.
So Jenny, some wondered if you could repeat the vault performance from the semifinals, and you guys did that. How were you able to do that?
It's what we do in practice, and we came out here. This team's really loose right now. They're having a lot of fun, and we're taking advantage and making the most out of every moment.
Why does being considered a dark horse to win this thing fuel this team?
Anything fuels this team. This team really is full of life, full of heart, and they're coming out and just laying it all out on the floor tonight.
Thanks so much.
Thank you so much.
Bart.
Okay, thank you, Laura. All right, that wraps up the second of 6 rotations. When we come back to St. Louis, we'll update you on the scores in the Super 6 final. We're back in St. Louis after 2 rotations. Now we're going to keep track of the meet average because not every team has done the same number of routines because of the buys. So take a look at this. LSU with the slightest advantage over UCLA, Oklahoma, Florida, Utah, and Nebraska in terms of meet averages. And I'm Bart Connor along with Kathy Johnson-Clark. LSU was incredible. They had a 9.775 from Sammy Durrani, but after that, they were lights out on bars.
Well, nothing helps your average better than 2 back-to-back 9.95s. Huge scores for LSU. Lexi Priestman was as perfect as she has been all season. I saw one tiny little leg separation, but check out that landing on her double layout.
And then on the floor, the UCLA Bruins shined as they always do.
Entertaining as always. They know how to connect with an audience and find these landings. And this one was just special. This is unique. No other routine quite like it. Brought the crowd to its feet. And we were pretty excited about it here in the booth as well. A lot of fun and a huge score.
So this one is close, folks. You can see the scores there after the second rotation. We move to the third rotation when we come back to St. Louis.
We're all just kind of really happy to be here and just, you know, we're just going to do our thing and see what happens.
Just go out there, enjoy the moment, and have fun with it.
I think we're all just really excited to just have one last celebration here.
I just want to go out there and have so much fun with my team and to enjoy everything and to watch our hard work pay off.
I do believe we deserve a national championship. We have worked so hard for this.
It would be that last final jewel on the crown.
Obviously, everyone here tonight wants to win a national championship. The one thing to keep in mind is that we are seeing the final performances of some senior gymnasts this evening. Alex McMurtry about to head to the bars. That'll be the final time she does bars for Florida. Maya Hambrick, she'll be on the beam over here for LSU. And those two are all-arounders, so we see them a lot throughout this competition. But pay attention to the leadoff performer for LSU on beam. It's Erin McAdag. She only does beam consistently for this team. This is her final performance of a beam routine that means the world to her and her team. She's absolutely spectacular on this event.
And Laura, she has led off all 4 years for LSU. And you would think if it's really the only thing you do, it's your big responsibility, it might get stale, it might get old. She breathes life into every routine that she does and just performs it full out every time.
The 4'9" senior from Redwood City, California.
Very nice. Good fight on that switch half. That's one of the more difficult dance sequences you can see. A lot of bonus points right there on those three skills together.
Did a 9.8125 in the semifinal yesterday.
Her acro series. She wants to line it up perfectly straight, attack the landing, straight up. Oh. Unfortunately, the pressure just got to her a little bit. She has handled it so incredibly her entire career. Glad to see her fight to stay on that beam and come up with a stick on the landing. Unfortunately, that break will be a more significant deduction than she usually gets.
And these teams are incredibly close. The 4 teams competing in this rotation are separated by only 625 ten-thousandths of a point.
Now this is an event that Florida needs to take full advantage of. They're very strong. Technically, they have high level of difficulty with all of their routines.
It was their second highest scoring event in the semifinal yesterday to vault. Stuck a lot of landings over here.
Very, very strong. Needs to get those feet up on this double layout.
Oh,
look at that landing. Well done.
Owen Field, the assistant coach, happy with that performance.
Very nice job on this reverse hack. 1.5 feet over the high bar. Perfect distance away from the bar as she regrabs. Double layout, legs came apart just a little bit. Those judges sit on the side, so it's a little hard for them to see that flaw.
A moment ago, Anna Glenn on the vault for UCLA. She's coming after Nia Dennis, scored a 9.8375.
And most of these vaults are 9.95 start value,
Whoa.
so they require perfection, and she just called it in. Look at the gorgeous height and form, technique, and the landing, of course.
That has been one of the question marks for the UCLA Bruins. Can they stick vault 2 days in a row? Off to a great start here in the Super 6 final on this event. Important routine here for LSU now. Erin McAdeg, a 9.7375.
My Hamrick is one of the toughest competitors, competing all 4 events, consistently high in the all-around, but can always come up with these clutch performances. Look at that, a minor adjustment. She usually lands with that leg behind her. She was slightly off, so she just placed it gently in front, gave up no balance error.
12-time All-American, a senior from Temple, Georgia. This is her final collegiate competition as well.
I would love to see a brain scan during a gymnast performance on the balance beam. How quickly the mind has to work. Not making corrections before they're needed, but ready to adjust. Especially those minor little deductions, the minor adjustments where nobody sees them.
Been a good event for LSU all year long. Ranked 3rd in the country here.
Phenomenal routine for her. Really, I love to see those little bitty corrections she made and gave up nothing in terms of a deduction. She does this round of double twist so easily, so well. When you hit that kind of shape in the air and give yourself that much time, it's easy to stick.
Amelia Hundley on the bars now for Florida.
Now I want you to see how she attacks this routine. She swings so aggressively, so freely, fully extended throughout this entire routine.
Megan Skaggs before her had a 9.9 career high.
Perfectly straight arms. I love the swing, the technique. Is one of the best in the competition. If she can get this landing on the half in, half out, got it.
Another stuck landing for Florida. Tyler Ross now, see if she can recover from the floor.
Nice Yurchenko fall, little half hop back. We've gotten spoiled seeing so many sticks. Just beautiful body line. That's what Kyla does best. Just stretches out through her entire body.
She's coming after Pauline Tratz, had a 9.825, so good scores for the Bruins there. Rachel Gowie now on the bars. Outstanding event for her. Amelia Hundley's score is in. It's a 9.9.
Florida is doing a terrific job with these routines, really showing off superior technique, good difficulty, those back-to-back release moves. Love to see the patience on these long hang kip casts. No rush there, get the feet up here. Find that landing, wow. She worked for it because she had to pike down some to find that landing, but then didn't move the feet.
Rachel Gowie doing a nice job. Did her club training in Iowa. Chow's Gymnastics. Back to the floor now for Oklahoma. Brenna Dowell. See the scores so far. Bree Showers led them off with a 9.875. Evie Schofer a 9.8875. So great start.
Just listen to this driving music. It really tells you what this routine is all about, and it is power. Now, she normally does a jump out of that double front. Smart move not to do it. She was right in the corner, and she would have gone out of bounds.
Alicia Hano on ball for UCLA at the same time.
This is a 1.5 twist. 10-0 start value. Big vault. Oh, she bent her legs just a little too much when she tried to absorb that landing. Didn't get the stick.
Jasmine Foberg now on bars for Florida. Rachel Gowie had a 9.875.
She opens the routine with a pack salto down to the low bar. She'll work right back up to the high bar. with a chapage right into an in-bar ginger. Very nice, unique difficulty. This mounts a half in, half out as well, and another landing. Oh my gosh. They have caught the stick bug. And that's a good thing to catch. Wow, I feel like a shift in energy in the arena has just happened. Everyone has stepped up a notch, really hyper-focused on these landings.
Once again, 4 events going on simultaneously. Make sure you launch your ESPN app and you can follow the coverage on each individual event as we go now back to vault. Through a hall coming after Hanos 9-8.
With a 1.5 twist, I know they'd love a stick on this one. Almost got it, beautiful in the air.
Alex McMurtry on bars now. See your season average, 9.95.
Watch the amplitude. You can have a sandwich in between the time she lets go of the bar and regrasped it.
Desmond Thoberg had a 9.8875. Really strong rotation. And McMurtry could wrap it up. A big score for Florida here in their second event.
This is such a clean bar routine, and I can't tell you how many times she's stuck that dismount. She just has the timing perfected in terms of that release point. And she loves to show off flying 2 feet over the bar. Beautiful straight arm work, way up above the bar. She finishes the skill at the level of the high bar. All the time in the world to find that landing.
And A.J. Jackson starting her floor routine for the Sooners. Brenna Dahl smartly stayed in bounds and got a 9.9375. Oh!
Big step back. Unfortunately, that'll be a 10th off for step out of bounds, and of course, a little more deduction for that big step.
A.J. Jackson, the senior from Belton, Missouri, has at some times in her career had trouble controlling that enormous power.
Absolutely. She just leaped higher than a lot of people tumbled.
Alex McMurtry's score is in. It's a 9.975. A huge score for Florida in their second performance on the bar. So Florida off to an outstanding start on both vault and bars in this Super 6 final.
Whip half to a front full. Nice job, just that huge first tumbling pass, unfortunately, a giant step out of bounds.
Reagan Campbell now for LSU on beam. All of their scores since the 9.7375 have been better than a 9.8.
Very smooth transition from the front aerial to the back handspring, getting that connection. Right into her split jump. Needs a little bit more split, and watch that back foot on the lead. She has a really nice leap here. Switch half, does it quite well, shows off a pretty position in the air. 1.5 twist dismount coming up. For that landing, sets it up, double twist.
Talk about how close this team competition is. LSU needs to average 9.95 in the last 2 routines on beam to pass Florida, who is currently setting the mark quite high in this team competition. But a solid hit for Campbell there. Anastasia Webb, we saw her clutch performance on the beam, the young freshman from Morton Grove, Illinois. See what she can do on the floor.
When you talk about a floor exercise routine, you really want to see a complete performance with the tumbling and the dance. She really performs this in such a big way. Front double twist. I'm sure Oklahoma's feeling just a little bit of pressure. Other teams are really pushing them, sticking landings around them. They've got that big step out of bounds. So a slight missed opportunity there.
And when we talked to KJ Kindler early this season about this floor routine, I said, how do you describe it? She said, I would call it slinkety.
Slinkety, that's good. Back 1.5 to front full. Many of the gymnasts doing their combination passes do not twist both skills. So it's nice to see that difficulty. There's slinkety.
Score for A.J. Jackson, just a 9.725, a couple of tenths point less than what she scored in the semifinal. So they'll need a big score from Webb and Nichols to get a great team score in this rotation.
Excellent landing to finish this routine. I love that pose, especially because it looks great from every single angle in the arena.
Oklahoma needs to average 9.925 in the last two performances if they hope to pass Florida in this rotation. Sarah Finnegan on the beam for LSU now. Reagan Campbell scores in a 9.875.
Sarah has been so consistent all year on every event. She was a little bit off on the uneven bars in the previous event. I know she'd like to really come back strong here. An event she is so lovely. A handspring layout step out. Watch the position in the leap. Look for the amplitude. She rises up. Beautiful position on that switch half. Never loses the toe point.
Such an outstanding all-around gymnast. In the semifinals yesterday, she tied for 8th for the all-around placing.
So far, this is better than her routine in semifinals, which was a good one.
Oh.
This is an excellent beam routine for Sarah.
Scores in for Anastasia Webb. It's a 9.925. So one more 9.925 for the Sooners if they hope to pass Florida in this rotation. Maggie Nichols is the one who can do it.
And she does it with both her tumbling and her dance ability. Full twisting double back, tight. Where her camera is too. Nice little wing. Front full. That's my favorite pass actually. Front full to front layout step out. Such an elegant skill.
Nichols earned a 10 on bars last night, which means 2 years in a row she has completed the gym slam, meaning she scored a perfect 10 on each individual event. Freshman year and sophomore year, she has a total of 15 perfect 10s in her young collegiate career.
She just did those leaps perfectly, giving away absolutely no deductions throughout this routine. Looking for control here on double pike. That's the perfect amount of lunge. When you step back out of those 2 feet, that's exactly what the judges are looking for. And finishes with the O on her chest. Okay, looking for 3. That is what they're hoping to do here.
And she earned a share of the NCAA Floor Exercise Championship yesterday. She shared it with Ohashi from UCLA. What a thrill here, Kathy.
This is just so beautiful. Watch that front layout and then steps out right into her dance.
The Sooners hoping to three-peat this year, and enormous pressure on that performance. 2 routines in a row for Maggie Nichols comes through when they needed it. Let's go down to Laura Rutledge. She's with Utah's coach, Megan Marsden.
Megan, you got to start on floor, which is a great event for this team. How did they do?
Not as well as we had hoped or worked for, so it was a little disappointing. And vault went okay, but not great. So right now they're digging deep, and we're going to have to figure out how we can finish this meet a little stronger so that we have something to hang our hat on, maybe a second half that rallies back a little bit.
How can you get that second half rallying starting with bars?
Well, I think we have a team that enjoys swinging, and so I felt like they've been doing a nice job here. Yesterday we had a good round on bars.
Thanks so much.
All right, here is the score for Maggie Nichols. It's in 9-9-6-2-5. That means Oklahoma moves into the lead. Florida in second, LSU in third. These 3 teams separated by just 15 100ths of a point. You're watching the 2018 NCAA Women's Gymnastics Championship. This is the first time we have a chance to compare all the teams because they've all competed the same number of routines. Oklahoma, Florida, LSU separated by 15 100ths of a point. They seem to be separating themselves from the rest of the field in this Super 6 championship. How about Oklahoma on the floor, Kathy?
It was all about power and grace and smarts, not adding that jump right there. She stayed in bounds. Maggie Nichols was her usual superb, both tumbling and dance, spot on. And what a bar rotation for Florida. Every single one of them found these landings. No movement of the feet, sky high, and huge scores.
9-9-7-5 for McCurtry in that performance. LSU digging deep on beam, and Sarah Finnegan delivered as always.
Absolutely, and with beautiful form and execution throughout. That's all hard.
So it's an exciting day of gymnastics here in St. Louis. When we come back, we'll move to the 4th of 6 rotations at the Super 6 final.
Florida has found a unique inspiration for their season. In adversity that they've faced, nothing has felt too hard to deal with because of their honorary teammate. Her name is Bailey Warner. She's a 6-year-old girl, and she's here in St. Louis to support this team that she feels she's a part of. She was diagnosed with an inoperable brain tumor a couple years ago, and she has been fighting back. She's actually about to finish her chemotherapy treatments, and we'll have a chemo-free party coming up here in a couple months. Her dad, Jeremy, wanted to thank this Florida team for taking in Bailey and being such great role models for her. So she came by with some gifts for the girls the other day. Her dad said the doctors have actually told them that because of Bailey doing gymnastics and trying to be like her teammates, it's given her strength that's helped her fight her cancer. This Florida team, though, would tell you that what Bailey has brought to them is far greater than what they've brought to her. She's been an incredible inspiration to everything that they've dealt with this entire season.
Thank you, Laura. What a beautiful story, and we wish Bailey and her family nothing but the best. And Florida, by the way, putting on quite a great show for little Bailey today, aren't they, Kathy?
They certainly are. They've taken some inspiration from Bailey, and Bailey is showing us what strength is really like. Glad that gymnastics could help her.
Top 3 teams separated by just 15 100ths of a point. Remember, we got all 4 apparatus going on at the same time with commentary from a gymnast-turned-analyst. Catch all the action streaming live on the ESPN app, and you can hear Lauren Sisler covering the beam, John Roethlisberger covering the floor, Bridget Sloan covering the bars, and Alicia Sacramone-Quinn covering the vault. In this rotation, excuse me, Kathy, in this rotation, Oklahoma on the vault, Florida on the beam, Utah on bars, and Nebraska on the floor.
Amelia Hunley is doing a great job with this opening routine. She is such a competitor. I told the coaches earlier, she competes like a beast, so determined, so focused. And of Of course, excellent basic training throughout her entire career certainly doesn't hurt. There's a lot of experience with pressure. She competed at the Olympic trials in 2016. She brings all that experience here and has done so well here at the National Championships. Leadoff performer for Florida, gets them off to a good start, fights for that landing.
Three-time All-American and All-SEC this year. Clutch performance. Okay, Bree Showers now for Oklahoma on vault. Nicole Lehrman led them off with a 9.85.
I know KJ Kindler really wants to start seeing some stock landings. That was a beautiful vault in the air. Nice height and distance, great body line, just not quite the landing.
Oklahoma has some flexibility on this event. They were talking about warming up 8 or 9 gymnasts. They weren't sure who was going to get to go. Bree Showers, not normally in the lineup, but she got a chance to go in the semifinal and delivered there as well as today in the final.
In fact, there was a potential for doing 5 1.5 twists on vault. I think they're going to perform 4. Huge advantage.
Softball postseason is right around the corner. Tune into the NCAA Softball Selection Show Sunday, May 13th at 10 p.m. Eastern on ESPNU. For more information on the 90 NCAA championships, log on to ncaa.com. Kenna Merrill Giles on bars now for Utah. Utah, as Coach Megan Marsden said, a little bit disappointed with their performance so far today. Had a chance to get back on track with one of their better events.
And they want to turn it around right here. They love to swing, as Megan said. This has a cool combination in this routine. Watch when she does the toe on, toe off right here.
Nadal for the Sooners on vault at the same time.
And a beautiful high-flying delta right at the same time as a perfect stuck landing from Brenna Dow.
Brenna has a share of the NCAA title on vault from yesterday.
It's a really solid bar routine. Nice opening for Utah.
Utah relying on 4 all-around gymnasts in this competition. The only team competing 4 all-arounds, which means basically 16 of 24 routines come from just 4 athletes. Jay Jackson set to go on the vault as we wait for the score for Brenna Dowell.
Which should be a very big score for Oklahoma. She is just crazy good on those landings. I'd love to know her stick percentage throughout her career.
She is uncanny at putting her feet underneath her and not budging.
AJ Jackson is very capable of a huge vault as well.
AJ Jackson had a little trouble containing her power on floor when out of bounds. Let's see if she can control the nerves today here in this Super 6 final. Dowell's score is now in 9.9375. Here's Jackson.
Same vault, 1.5 twist. This is much different run style. 1.5, a little bit short on that rotation, so she actually had to slide her feet back underneath her.
As you mentioned, Oklahoma going for 4 10-0 vaults. This is a good one.
She did a big vault in terms of distance, just a slight under rotation of that somersault, but managed it pretty well.
We mentioned that the Sooners are messing with the lineup a little bit. Jade Degovea will be their next vaulter. Degovea didn't go all season long until yesterday in the semifinals. In fact, she has a plantar fasciitis injury that kept her out of the lineup, and she ended up earning a score yesterday that gave her 10th place finish in the NCAA. Talk about someone who had a good meet. How about Alicia Bourne? Had a great meet in the semifinals.
All 4 events for Florida. Rock solid. Second team All-American in the all-around. She does a lot of difficulty in this routine. That was a front toss, comes back with a back handspring layout, step up, nice cover there, beautiful action. She just slid the foot back into a nice pose.
Talked about the 4 all-arounders for Utah. Florida uses 3, and there is Jade Degovea from the Sooners. Just her second vault of the year coming up now.
Little balance break there, bend at the waist. Down up 1.5 twist. Much better landing than in warm-ups, and especially for somebody who hasn't vaulted much in competition. That's terrific.
A.J. Jackson before her had a 9.8625.
Cartwheel full off the side. Very good routine. She had that one balance break where she bent at the waist. Not all the way over, so she saved it as much as she could.
The scores to this point for Florida on the beam are Hundley 9.85, Megan Skaggs 9.825. Caitlin Morrill finishing up her floor routine. Kinsey Roby did a nice job, 9.8625 before her.
You can hear teammates screaming from the side. They're happy with this routine.
And Maggie Nichols coming up now. 9.9 was the score for Jade Degovea in just her second competitive vault of the season. Nichols has just been spectacular all day long.
She has a way of finding these landings as well on the 1.5 twist. Just knows where it is. Look at that, and then can finesse it. Goes up on her toes, glues them to the mat, does her salute. So this is an artsy landing. I love it. Just stands up, stays up on her toes. It's a quick salute, but really darn close to a stick.
The reigning NCAA all-around champion showing her mastery so far on 3 of the 4 events. Rachel Gowie now, you see her national average on beam.
This is a big opportunity for Florida. She has the capability of scoring really high. She's got nice elegance and poise on this event. Love those long legs. She shows them off in the split and split jump.
Alicia Bourne before her at 9.8125.
And also does a triple series. A lot of bonus here. Back handspring did 2 layout step outs. Really has to stay square with the beam all the way through to the landing. Perfect.
Nailed it.
There's so much on the line. You can see her taking deep breaths to be calm, very firm on that correction. Very minor correction, just with the arms.
About what kind of day Florida's having. Remember, they're competing without Kennedy Baker, one of their star athletes.
And a stuck landing, well done.
So Florida started the year with this uncharacteristic amount of depth, and they've had that depth tested after they lost Kennedy Baker, but they're doing a really outstanding job today in the Super 6 final.
They have just stuck with it week in and week out. They've worked around a few little injuries, but it seems to all be coming together here at the Super 6.
3 times they've won the national championship. One year they shared the title with the Oklahoma Sooners back in 2014.
I love that shake of the head. It's like, whoo, that was intense up there.
Kayla Skinner set to go on the bars for Utah.
And this is as tough an athlete as you will find, just so mentally tough. No matter what the situation is, this is somebody who loves pressure more than anything.
We talk about consistency, so we've added up the numbers. She is 106 out of 160 teams for Utah. She's never once missed in collegiate competition.
This is the only event that she doesn't do the highest level of difficulty on, but she Stays clean as she possibly can through every skill, short and sweet. And then look at the fight there. Now, she should have brought her feet together. That should be a deduction because you have to close those heels after you land. But she was being stubborn to show, I am not moving my feet. This is a stick. Look at that handstand right on top of the bar. Trying to lock those legs out, and look at this. Yes, they're apart, and you are supposed to pull those heels together. We'll see what the judges do.
Alyssa Baumann on beam, SEC beam champion this year. Gowie had an outstanding 9.9125 count.
Well deserved. This is one of those natural balance beam workers. Look at that, very difficult Onodi. Half twist to that front handspring.
I mentioned Onodi, it was invented by Henrietta Onodi, the Hungarian gymnast. A lot of gymnastic skills are named after the athlete who first performed them.
Alyssa has such a nice quality on beam. Very soft on the landings, very stretched through the upper body. Keeps the pace moving on beam. Love to see that front aerial. Very firm on that presentation position after. Making certain the judges know she has stuck the skill.
Sienna Kraus now for Nebraska on the floor at the same time.
Alyssa does a 1.5 twist dismount off beam. And a perfect landing, really well done. Wow, Florida is outdoing themselves on balance beam.
They have their third stuck landing there and expect big scores for her. Sienna Kraus.
She opened with a front double twist, a punch front. This is a back 1.5 different layout. Kind of mistimed the punch into that branding.
Kraus, the junior from Fargo, North Dakota. This year, first team All-American on floor exercise.
Really needs to lift her eyes up and present more. You see the concentration there. This is a Rudy, right to a back layout step up. Very pretty position in that final skill. Nice ending pose there. Good job.
The best NCAA finish for the Nebraska Cornhuskers was 4th place, and they've done that twice. Alex McMurtry. Final beam routine as a senior athlete for the University of Florida. We saw her score a perfect 10 earlier this year, Greg.
She's always so precise in her movement, very deliberate. Some gymnasts on beam really get a more fluid movement. She is very crisp. So far, extremely solid. That can,
oh my
no.
goodness. Oh. He's coming after the score from Alyssa Baumann, a 9.9375. So huge scores for Florida, but a big mistake there for McMurtry.
Well, I know what Jenny will tell her, because time and time again, she has come through in clutch performances for the team, had other people's back. I know Alex will not be happy about this, but we have to talk about this is an unusual pressure situation because it is her final performance on balance beam. In a sport she's done since she was 2 or 3 years of age. Beautiful job finishing strong. Unfortunate miss in the middle of the routine. I think the nerves just got the best of her.
Now they have 5 outstanding scores, so it was just a miss and perhaps a 9.9 plus for her, but still be a strong beam score for Florida in that rotation. Megan Schweihofer coming after the 9.9 for Sienna Kraus. Schweihofer, their strongest all-around gymnast.
Beautiful position on that chaîné jeté, really showing off that full split. Opened with a full in. Nice height on that front layout into Rudy.
He's 14th in the all-around at these championships.
Notice there the little crossing of the arms. All of the Nebraska gymnasts incorporate something that the football team made famous, crossing bones. Their first team defense. Every time they do a great defensive play, they cross those arms like they're crossing bones or skull and bones, and they've incorporated it, showing their toughness. They have really fought back after a couple mistakes early on in the competition, so good for them.
Nice job for the Big Ten all-around champ this year. Laura is with head coach Dee Bro from LSU.
Dee, halfway through competition for your team, how have they done so far?
Well, I think we've done great. I'm very pleased. We knew coming into this 6 great teams. It was going to be a dogfight. It was going to be a cat fight. And I think we're holding our own. We've got 2 good events left to go. And I'll put these 2 events up. If we do our job, we got a shot.
For the rest of this competition, your mantra, all heart, how do you want it to apply?
Well, they've got to get out there and just let it go. No trying, just reckless abandon. Just go as hard as you can go, stretch your positions, and it's got to be all heart.
Thanks so much.
Thanks, Lauren.
Talk about all heart. Dee Bro in her 41st year at LSU. The Dean of Coaches in the SEC led them to the SEC Championship. Let's see if she can lead them to a national championship as well. We're back in St. Louis. Bart Connor along with Kathy Johnson-Clark. It's the Super 6 final. And after the 4th rotation, because not everyone has done the same number of routines, the best way of keeping track of who's doing well is the meet average. So Oklahoma averaging that 9.9, which is that 198 track. LSU in 2nd, Florida in 3rd, based on average scores coming into the 5th rotation. And boy, they were strong on vault. Brenna Dow, the reigning NCAA co-champion, stuck another one.
Crazy uncanny landing. This is just amazing that she finds it. Vault after vault, 1.5 twist, perfect landing. And Maggie Nichols, watch how she finesses this landing. Stays up on her toes, tries to hold that position as long as possible before turning to salute the judges.
Now when we come back, we'll move to the 5th rotation. Oklahoma's on a bye in this one.
Dear Sarah.
Dear Michaela.
Dear Alex.
Dear Kyla.
Dear Maggie.
Wow. I would say good job. You've come such a long way in gymnastics.
I would just tell her that I appreciate her falling in love with the sport when I was 3 and 4 years old.
Going up and competing here at the national championship, we're just inspiring all the little girls at home, watching in the stands, and to know that there's a bigger purpose.
You do realize that this is hard, this is a commitment, and this is something that you really have to want.
That's kind of how I was raised in club, like, how can you do it the best? College has been a fun aspect of trying to make my gymnastics beauty versus just powerful.
What I would tell this little girl is to follow your dreams, have fun with what you're doing, and enjoy the ride.
I just wish that she would have known that she would have been a great role model to all the little girls out there, and just to keep fighting and being a good example to everybody.
And to all the little girls who are at this point, like, stick with it. You have no idea how far it's going to take you.
We gave those incredible gymnasts photos of themselves as little girls. Michaela Skinner from Utah walked out of the room with the photo and said she would keep it in her bag all weekend long to remind her why she loves this sport. It reminds me of the quote, "She believed she could, and so she did." Can we all just agree that these young women are absolutely incredible?
Full and total agreement, because every single gymnast in this room has that little girl inside of them. That's what it's all about.
We've got it covered all around, folks. All 4 apparatus going on at the same time with commentary from 4 gymnast-turned-analysts. Catch all the action streaming live on the ESPN app, and you can listen to Olympians Alicia Sacramone-Quinn, Bridget Sloan, John Roethlisberger, and Lauren Sisler calling the action on the ESPN app. We're in the 5th of 6 rotations. This is coming down to the wire. The top 3 teams separated by just 15/100ths of a point. Oklahoma, LSU, and Florida. In this rotation, Oklahoma and Florida are on byes.
Ashlyn Kirby, bottom right for LSU on floor. They need a huge floor score.
In this rotation, LSU on the floor, UCLA on the bars, Utah on beam, and Nebraska on ball.
Looking at the scores, LSU needs a 49.6375. We'll pull up alongside Oklahoma. That's a huge score. It's not impossible, but well over that 9-9 magical mark.
Kathy, they had a 49-4 yesterday, so they'll have to be a little bit better than they were yesterday.
They have to achieve their absolute perfection. That means no steps on landings, no out of bounds.
You know, it seemed like coming into this competition that the teams that were going to challenge Oklahoma had to have near perfect meets, because Oklahoma, based on their team averages, 9 times this year over 198. So if they were going to get challenges from the other contenders, most of those teams will have to have a lights out competition.
Good landing for Nebraska on the vault.
Janae Honest on the bars for UCLA. Nia Dennis led them off with a 9.8375. This is always the fun event, although yesterday UCLA was not as typical spectacular team performance on bars that we normally see.
And they're ranked 4th on the uneven bar, so they're very capable, especially the last half of this bar lineup is sensational. Beautiful first handstand way up above the bar on her release move. Straddles back to a handstand on the low bar. A little bit of leg form throughout.
Christina Desiderio for LSU on floor at the same time. The score in for Ashlyn Kirby from LSU at 9.85.
And Janae Honest finished with a stick. Great routine for UCLA.
The senior from Visalia, California, hitting for the Bruins over there on the bars. And a Merrill Giles on beam now for Utah.
Now McKenna had a fall, very uncharacteristic fall on this event. I know she wants to come back and do the balance beam routine she knows she can do for this team.
She was heartbroken yesterday with just a 9.275.
I think all our hearts broke with her as she ran off. She got a hug from Coach Megan Marsden. Nicely done. Triple series, 2 back handspring to a layout step out. As always, talking to herself. All those mental cues are so important on balance beam. Important to set up the skill and follow through and then finish. Even on these simple elements, the full turn, special requirement on beam.
Junior from Pleasant Grove, Utah, the reigning Pac-12 champion on the vault.
Christina Desiderio finishing up over on floor. Just the dismount left here for McKenna. Double twist and a great landing, good for her.
Score for Janae Honest for UCLA was an outstanding 9-9, and that brings up Anna Glenn, one of the Glenn twins for the Bruins.
Anna has beautiful form on this event, just maintains those straight legs and pointed toes throughout. Tiniest leg separation on that pack salto.
She was out all of last season with a torn labrum. She had surgery, so did her sister, by the way, but she's back looking good.
Giant full to a tuck double back, very clean. Little shuffle on that landing, ever so slight step.
She gets congratulations from Chris Waller, who was 16 years the coach at UCLA and now his 3rd year as the associate head coach. All of those performances for UCLA on bars are just going to set it up for the final three, which could be a highlight as we go back to LSU. Lexi Priestman
opens with a full in tuck position. Chest just a little bit low.
Christina Desiderio before her, a career high 9.9, just when LSU needs it.
Beautiful job on her leaps. So back 1.5 to front layout. See if she can land perfectly there. Nice step into the dance.
She took a low landing yesterday, and here's a young lady that we've documented has had 6 orthopedic surgeries throughout her career, mostly on her lower body. So
it's the last thing you want to see on this ankle. She needs to go hard on this final tumbling pass, get those arms moving. Back handspring, hike double back.
This is where she stumbled yesterday. Let's see if she can gut it out today. That heavily taped ankle.
Strong lift here. Much better lift. A bounce of the landing, but very safe on the ankles. Stayed in bounds. That's important.
She stayed in bounds. She almost went flying off the floor. Dee Bro was there to catch her.
It was a bounce, so the judges will have to take a little bit there, but nice to see her land more upright.
Madison Koshin on bars. Olympic silver medalist, world champion, but she was not at her best yesterday.
No, she hasn't competed much, so it was a risk to put her back in the lineup, but it could pay off if she hits this routine. An Olympic silver medalist, are you kidding me?
Yesterday was only her 2nd performance in competition on bars for the Bruins this year after her shoulder surgery.
Shows off beautiful straight body handstands. Nice dismount,
oh, yes.
Half in, half out. That's the one they want.
He had a 9.875 in the NCAA regional, but shaky yesterday, only a 9.775.
Boy, she cranked that final giant. Really got a huge tap at the bottom, got those legs up, and set up a perfect landing.
Taylor Houchin, the final vaulter for Nebraska, coming after Sienna Krause's 9.9625. Her score, by the way, for Krause, the highest score on vault today. That means Nebraska's team competition is done because of the buys. Nebraska will be done when this final score comes in for Taylor Houchin. We will know their team score, and every other team will know the score to beat as we go to UCLA's Christine Pang Lee.
And this is just always a special treat. This is one of the craziest bar routines in the competition. Sets it up, huge single bar release right here, giant amplitude, right back up to handstand, and a pack full, beautifully done. So far, this is the best I've seen this routine.
For her, Madison Koshin, 9.9375.
And she is showing off these handstands. If she can get the double leg, got to get the feet up here. Bam!
Oh,
beautiful!
My goodness!
Is the routine she's looked for so long, because everyone knows what an extraordinary routine that is.
What fun the Bruins are on the sidelines. It's always a party. And usually in the center of the action is Pang Lee.
What did I say earlier about stars? They just lined up perfectly right there for this routine. The uneven bar gods were with her. 2 feet over the bar. And watch this. It's called a Bahardwaj. Full twist on the pack salto. Perfect.
So hard to keep good form on that transition element.
And she doesn't get to train this dismount often because of those knees, but wow. She pulled out the best one ever.
That landing like a dart going into a dartboard for Christine Pang Lee. Wait. They're on their feet here. They're celebrating. She gets a 10 in the Super 6 final on the bars for the Bruins.
Oh my gosh, who wrote this script? Unbelievable. So happy to see this, because this is the type of routine you want to see rewarded with a perfect 10. All that difficulty, unique difficulty.
What a thrill for the red shirt senior. This is her final meet of her collegiate career, and she drills a 10. That's the 5th 10 on bars in the Super 6. Kyla Ross now. What can she do?
Besides incredible technique, watch the straight body from start to finish. Wow. It's like anything you can do, I can do just as well.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, I'm showing them off here to see if she can get the double layout. It's usually a gorgeous position in the air.
Oh my goodness.
Wow. Okay.
Unreal. You know, coming into this rotation, the top 3 were Oklahoma, LSU, and Florida. UCLA making a huge statement here in the 5th rotation.
You know what? I think the bar judges may have the best seats in the house. They've seen some amazing bar routines these past 2 days. Okay, that's a handstand of handstands. Wow, just perfection.
Sarah Finnegan now for LSU.
Oh, so wonderful to see her stick that tumbling pass. 1.5 twist through to a 2.5 twist. Perfect control.
Kennedy Edney before her at 9.8625. The high score for LSU so far on floor is Desiderio's 9.9.
Now we've thrown the word around perfection a lot. She has such perfect feet throughout this routine. Oh my gosh, and these landings. Nothing like a 10 to bring out the competitive spirit in these athletes.
Kyla Ross's score is in for UCLA on bars at 9.95. .49.6375 for the Bruins on bars. The best score of the day.
We have seen Sarah Finnegan score a 10 on this event. She has unbelievable landings so far. That was a beauty too. Gorgeous routine here. The beautiful ending pose. So nicely done. Look at the feet. They're just exquisite. When you got it, you just have to flaunt it. Watch this pass, 1.5 twist. This is a perfect 2.5 twist. Great control on that landing. No large step out of it.
Kathy, I love what's going on. Oklahoma and Florida are on buys in this rotation, and yet LSU and UCLA making a huge statement in the 5th rotation in their bid to win a championship here today. Missy Reinstatler on beam, coming after Kari Lee's 9.825.
We are just seeing back to back to back. Exquisite form. Just this presentation. Look how straight the legs are. A handspring layout step back. Gorgeous in the air. Beautiful posture. Watch this. Raises up on toe. Very nice releve. I love that she performs beam with such a straight base leg. Really stretched all the way out of her hips. Very tall on balance beam. Missy had a great all-around competition in the semifinals. Second team All-American in the all-around.
Maya Hambrick now for LSU on floor, coming after Sarah Finnegan's impressive 9.95.
Little hop on the landing, but a gorgeous balance beam routine and a beauty of a double layout from Maya Hambrick. Ashley Claire Kearney is their assistant, volunteer assistant coach, does all the choreography for LSU, always does a terrific job picking the music, getting these routines to suit the personality and the strengths of these athletes.
And while she's finishing her floor, Michaela Skinner mounts the beam for Utah.
And I can feel the ice from across the arena. She just has ice water in her veins. She is so tough in these pressure situations. Big finish from Maya Hambrick on floor. High pike double back. And all while this is going on, Michaela Skinner keeping her cool. Reverse full turn. Switch lead. Straddle jump into a standing back tuck. Always yells that yes after those three. She closes out this routine with one of the more difficult dismounts on being double back.
Very few gymnasts in collegiate competition take this risk. It's so hard to land consistently.
They usually get their difficulty bonus in the beam routine. She gets it through the beam. Oh, didn't quite get the landing, but great difficulty. Nice routine. Came up just a little bit short, maybe got ahead of herself, thinking stick just a little too soon. But what tremendous heart and just grit that this team is showing.
Score in for LSU's Maya Hambrick. Another 9.95 after Finnegan's for LSU on the floor. So 3 scores, 9-9 plus in that rotation. Jay Clark over there getting them pumped up. LSU and UCLA incredible in this 5th rotation. By the way, UCLA's score on bars, 49.6375, is the 2nd best bar score in Super 6 history. So while Oklahoma and Florida are in the locker room on buys, their challengers are really lighting up this arena. Let's go down to Laura Rutledge.
Val, emotional watching Peng get that 10, and also Kyla's incredible performance. As Peng's final performance for UCLA on bars, what were your thoughts?
You know, it's not just for UCLA, because I feel she's learned all that she can learn within our program. I just feel like there's nobody in the world that's ever done gymnastics like Peng does. And there are beautiful gymnasts out there. I'm not saying she's more beautiful. She's just so unique. And for the world to not be able to see that again, and then balance beam, and just how she works, that effervescence that she brings to the events is so unique. I've never seen it before, and you know, we're not going to see it again. There are going to be other great athletes, and there are great athletes, but Peng is unique.
That's the hard part about tonight, right? But we are going to see Peng on beam as well as the rest of your team. What's important there?
Well, you know, I just want to say that it's really good that I have zero affinity for math, because in my mind, we can still win this thing. So we're going to go kick some butt over on beam.
I love it. Thanks, Val.
Thank you.
Well, we can do the math for her. The top 4 teams entering the final rotation are separated by barely over 0.2 of a point. Oklahoma, LSU, UCLA, and Florida. The competition is complete for Utah and Nebraska, and they did well.
I feel glorious, glorious. Got a chance to start again. I was born for this, born for this. It's who I am. How could I forget? I made it through the darkest part of the night, and now I see the sunrise. Now I feel glorious, glorious. I feel glorious, glorious.
We're back at the Super 6 finals, getting set for the 6th and final rotation. After 5 rotations, here are the scores. Utah and Nebraska are done, and they did a nice job. Very impressive, 196.9 and 196.8. But the 4 teams on the floor in this rotation, Oklahoma, LSU, UCLA, and Florida, separated by just over 0.2 of a point. UCLA was on bars while LSU was on the floor.
They just turned on the afterburners. It was incredible this past rotation. We saw so much perfection, the landings, everything. But UCLA's bars were out of this world. This was just otherworldly. When they went on a tear, they went on a tear, nailing every dismount with Peng finishing off with a perfect 10. What an amazing moment.
When we come back, we'll move to the 6th and final rotation, and we'll find out who takes home the national championship trophy.
Welcome back here with Oklahoma head coach KJ Kindler. KJ, what's tonight been like for you so far?
Honestly, it's been great. I mean, we had a couple of hiccups, but the team had each other's backs. The 5 routines we counted were literally flawless. I felt great about it. Going into floor, vault, very aggressive. So now we just got to wrap this thing up.
Wrapping it up on bars, where Maggie Nichols got a 10 yesterday. What's your hope for them on this event?
I just want them to be very aggressive. You know, don't hold back. Just go for it. Nothing to lose.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
And here we go. Oklahoma on the bars in this final rotation. LSU on the vault, UCLA on the beam, Florida on the floor. All 4 events going simultaneously here in the Super 6 final. These 4 teams, the best 4 teams in the country, separated by .2125. This is close, Kathy.
Oh gosh, Sarah Finnegan right there in your upper left-hand corner. Started LSU off with a Yarchenko full. Didn't quite get a stick on her landing.
Oklahoma has the lead, LSU in 2nd, UCLA in 3rd, Florida in 4th.
Oklahoma's on a great event for them, ranked number 2 in the country on bars. And Grace Glenn here on balance beam for UCLA. And this is one of the best balance beam teams in the country.
Twin sister of Anna Glenn, who we saw on bars earlier, Kathy.
This is such a comfortable routine. Beautiful split position in those leaps.
She also missed the 2017 season last year with a labrum surgery on her shoulder.
Shows a beautiful flexibility. In fact, you'll even see the flexibility here on this back handspring layout. Step out, whoops, earlier in the routine, that's the dismount back handspring to the gainer full off the side.
Sarah Edwards now for LSU on the vault. Sarah Finnegan led them off with a nice 9.8125.
Round up, 1.5 twist. I think she stunned herself on that landing. It's like, whoa, wait a minute, I didn't move. Now can I move?
I loved it. She wanted to take a step, but she actually couldn't.
This is fantastic. Good for her. Very difficult vault. I love the delayed smile.
3 showers on bars. Anastasia Webb led them off with a 9.85. Remember, Oklahoma in 1st now, but this thing is close.
Nice move from Tristan Tkachev. Called a Shushanova. Well, KJ Kindler told them she does not want them holding back. Swing free, be aggressive, go for it. Absolutely nothing to lose. Half in, half out. Look at the landing, and she emphasizes that salute with a deep arch of the back.
Kathy, last year when Oklahoma won, they started the Super 6 final on bars, stuck all 6 landings, and went on for essentially a mic drop performance as they dominated last year. This year is incredibly close as we go back to LSU on vault. Ruby Harreld set to go, but Sarah Edwards comes in with a career-high 9.95, and what a time to do it.
Absolutely, and Ruby really needs to build on that momentum, bring a lot of speed and energy into this vault. She's landed short at times on this 1.5. Not this time, step forward. Bob Moore very happy with his vault team so far.
Alex McMurtry, last year's NCAA all-around champion.
Okay.
This is their final routine of her collegiate
Hold
career.
your breath, triple twist, one of the best in the world. Really worked hard to get that landing. So hard to land in those soft mats. I know they're protective. It can be tricky.
There's been one event that she has had some inconsistency. It's on floor. Remember at the SEC championships a month ago, she had an uncharacteristic fall. She doesn't get to train floor exercise very much. She's had to deal with stress fracture in her back, and so she rarely gets to train it. let alone compete this event.
Just has to do quality workouts. I think she tumbles maybe once a week, once every 2 weeks. Same thing with vault. Okay, everybody waits for these tumbling passes. They're sky high. This is a tough double back. Huge finish.
Oh, yes. And what a way for Alex McMurtry to finish her outstanding collegiate career. Juliana Canamella for LSU on vault.
Had one of the most beautiful Yurchenko falls.
Another stuck landing.
That is a stick. Absolutely a little deep in the knee bend, but wow, no movement of the feet.
Ruby Harrell before her, a 9.825.
Just exquisite form. I love the way she blocks, lifts before she starts that twist.
Much like Sarah Edwards, it's like she wanted to take a step, but she was so planted into the mat, she didn't need to. She earns the LSU stick crown.
Enjoy the moment.
Stephanie Couture from Oklahoma, a 9.8875. That brings up Brenna Dow. Oklahoma in the driver's seat here. They're leading coming into this rotation, and so far they have a 9.85, a 9.9, and a 9.8875. 3 performers to go if Oklahoma hopes to win this. They need a good one here from Brenna Dow.
And she attacks these uneven bars just the way she attacks her tumbling, her vault, very powerfully. But the finesse is there too. Look at the straight arms, pushes all the way through the shoulders. Tiny bit short on that transfer to handstand on low bar, but gets it right there. Watch this dismount. It is to die for. A double layout with perfect technique and a perfect landing.
Another stuck landing. I don't know how she does it, but Brenna Dow has mastered the art of the stick, and she does it at an important time for the Sooners. Maya Hambrick now, a moment ago for LSU on vault.
Another 1.5 twist for LSU. Wow! I think that's the first time I've ever seen Maya stick her 1.5 twist cold.
She's coming after Canamella, had a 9.875.
Wow, look at that. Look at the faces.
LSU was in second coming into this 6th and final rotation, and they are pouring it on vault, which was traditionally a strong event for them.
I'm trying to read their lips. I'm trying to see what they're yelling to each other.
Score in for Maya Hambrick, a 9.95 for LSU in this 6th and final rotation. They'll have one final vaulter, and that, of course, is Kennedy Edney.
Now, they've set up a possible very big score because they had perfect landings on their vault. Kennedy also skies this vault. She can get the amplitude necessary for a huge score. Way up high. Oh, got the height and the distance, just not the landing. That was a big step.
2 scores of 9.95 for LSU in that event, but an otherwise outstanding rotation is Nicole Lehrman, who had a share of the NCAA Bars Championship last year, comes up now.
This is the type of routine you love to see. Uneven bars should look easy, effortless. Never let them see you work. It's all done with technique. Yes, the strength is there, but it's fueled by technique and swing. Nice straight arms. Gets the feet up nicely. Pointed toes in that half in, half out. They'll probably take a little deduction for bending over at the waist to keep the feet glued to the mat.
Brenna Dow before her had a 9.9125. Get this, Lehrman has been 9.9 plus on every routine this year on the uneven bars. The only gymnast in the country to never go below 9.9 during the season on this event this year. So LSU is done. Their final score is in. Edney 9.8625, which means LSU has notched a 197.8375. They're the first team to complete this 6th and final rotation as we go to Ohashi on the beam for UCLA.
these final 3 beam performers for UCLA could be some of the best balance beam workers in all of collegiate gymnastics. They are so naturally gifted on this event. Yes, the hard work is there, but they just have such an inner balance beam spirit.
They'll need some hit routines here because Madison Koshin had only a 9.275, so they need 3 hit routines here to make a case for a shot at the championship.
Handspring layout, step out to the dismount, beautifully done. And just like we saw Maggie Nichols go up on her toes, she stays up on the toes on that stuck landing and doesn't move them.
Speaking of Maggie Nichols, she scored a perfect 10 on bars last night in the semifinal.
She definitely knows how to go for a very difficult church. That's that piked reverse hack. Nice packed salto into a toe on, toe off, and right back up to the high bar with another release move. This has all the difficulty, all the makings of a huge score for Oklahoma.
Oh my goodness.
And another.
What a competition sophomore Maggie Nichols has had from start to finish.
Okay, we have seen some dynamic routines. That's
Another
giant
new word.
and dynamic put together. I'm telling you, this is crazy.
Nicole Lehrman before her had a 9.875, but this routine was impeccable, Kathy.
Holy cow. This is amazing. Perfect handstand position, so aggressive, so confident to go for those. Razor edge, just right to the edge in terms of risk. That's training, preparation, hard work, and makes it look easy.
She scored a perfect 10 in the semifinals. She shares the NCAA title with E.B. Price from Stanford, who also scored 10 yesterday. Let's see what they're going to come up with for Maggie Nichols. Oklahoma in charge here. On 9.95 comes in for Caitlin Ohashi from UCLA, and that brings up Kyla Ross, and they need 2 hit routines from Ross and Peng Lee right now.
All 3 of these competitors are so different from each other in terms of their style, their approach. Kyla Ross is such a perfectionist, always was in her elite career. The repetition that it takes through so many years to achieve this kind of perfection, where she can make everything look so easy, effortless. Aerial walkover.
It's all about the scores at this point. You'll notice that LSU with that 197.8375 has been passed by Oklahoma already.
Absolute perfection. She doesn't take the huge risks that her other 2 teammates take in terms of difficulty, but she just raises the bar in that execution and presentation.
We're joining Alyssa Bauman now for Florida. Maggie Nichols' score is in. It's a 9.9625. It's a huge score for the Sooners. They're over 198 for their 10th time in the 2018 season.
Alyssa Bauman is following a huge 9.9375 by Alicia Boren on floor. They've got some big scores as well.
Florida has had an outstanding competition. Once again, they're competing without Kennedy Baker, who tore her Achilles midway through the season, and yet really doing a superb job in this Super 6 final.
You could see Alyssa just turn it up a notch. She went extra special on those leaps and jumps. Got to go big on this final tumbling run. High double back, beautiful form in the air, nice control. Strong finish.
Alyssa Bauman. Peng Lee set to go to wrap it up for the UCLA Bruins. A 9.975 to win it for UCLA if Peng Lee can deliver that score now. Unreal.
I'm glad she loves pressure. I'm glad she loves the spotlight and performing. Very few gymnasts can stay this free on this event.
Yesterday she had a 9.9875.
Watch the pace of this routine. She is so confident. She might as well be on a sidewalk. Very difficult double turn. Right into the big jump, split jump.
She is fearless.
Absolutely fearless. I don't know what her inner spirit animal is, but whatever it is, it worked beam. Piece right back to you. This is absolutely stunning. Arrowhead with a full twist. Oh my.
What a way to finish the career for Bang Bang Lee. She had a 10 on the bars tonight. And what is she going to get for that, Kathy?
Does it even matter? Yes, it does. I know this is a sporting event. We need scores of judges, but wow. This is amazing. Watch her attack that back pike and just keep moving. The double turn, very difficult. You only need to do a full as a requirement. She does a double split. Oh. Well, I wish I had the right word for this. There just really isn't.
Waiting on the score for Peng Peng Lee. The championship on the line, depending on what she gets. You see there, 9.975 for UCLA to win it outright.
Oh.
And the score is in. It's her second perfect 10 of the night. UCLA does it. UCLA will win on a superb performance over the Oklahoma Sooners. What a thrill for the Bruins. Their 7th NCAA championship on a night that they had to be perfect. And Peng Peng Lee delivers 2 perfect 10s when they needed them most. That 49.75, the highest beam score in NCAA championship history, and they needed all of it to upend the Sooners, who were having a heck of a meet themselves. Highest beam score in UCLA history. Here comes the trophy. Oklahoma had their hopes on winning their 3rd in a row, and they were superb tonight. But it took a even better performance from the UCLA Bruins. And that's what they got.
That was out of this world. I'm speechless. I've used so many superlatives for all of these young women, but UCLA, as I said at the beginning of the show, if the stars aligned just right, they could truly be magical. I had no idea in that moment that this could be this magical, this amazing in the final moments of the Super 6. Unreal.
UCLA will win, Oklahoma 2nd, Florida moved up to 3rd, LSU to 4th. That's the first title for UCLA since 2010, and their 7th overall. Who could have predicted it would have come down to this, Kathy?
I don't know. I don't think they're here. So just amazing. What a show for all of the people in this arena, all of these teams. So many incredible moments, incredible performances.
Oklahoma over 198 for their 10th time in the season. That's essentially like good luck catching us.
That's a winning score.
It is a winning score. And yet UCLA came up with...
Look at these two coaches, happy for each other. What an amazing moment in NCAA gymnastics history.
And what a way to do it with perfect 10s from Peng Peng Lee and solid performances throughout. Miss Val, her 28th year as the head coach, conferring with Chris Waller, who is the associate head coach, former Olympian himself. It took an unreal performance from UCLA, and that's what they got. Let's go down to Laura.
Thank you, Bart. Peng Peng, you love pressure.
Oh my God.
Where did you find the ability to get back-to-back perfect 10s to win your team a national title?
Honestly, it was a fight, and I know the first two rotations, we were down in the rankings, but we fought to the end. We are warriors. Bruins are fighters, and this is what sport is all about. It's about pressure, it's about grit, it's about heart and love. And I love this team so much, and I'm just like so excited. Like I have no tears in my eyes because I think they're just like partying on the inside, but like they'll come out at some point. I'm so proud of this team. I have no words right now.
You came back for a 5th year to have a chance to win a national championship with this team. Now you've done it. What does it feel like?
Oh my God, I'm so overwhelmed right now. It just feels so much hard work has been put into this, so much passion. We have come together as a team through thick and thin. We've had so many ups and downs, and to do it in this moment, under this much pressure, this is the best thing that could happen on a Saturday night. Come on. And I've been wanting to say, I'm going to Disney World after this. So, I'm going to have a flight tomorrow to go to Disney World. So, yeah, that's all I got to say in my 6th year, and I'm so proud of this team. Go Bruins.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
What a thrill for UCLA. It took an unreal performance to beat the favorite Oklahoma Sooners, and that's what the Bruins delivered. We'll come back and we'll talk to Miss Val when we come back. The NCAA Women's Gymnastics Championships is brought to you by Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's. Your adventure starts here. The DQ Chicken Strip Basket with 100% all-white meat chicken. Only at your DQ, and Sam Adams, fill your glass. Well, the UCLA Bruins needed a perfect 10 from Peng Peng Lee, and she delivered it not only once but twice in a ridiculously impressive performance for the Bruins to win their 7th national championship. Laura Rutledge is with their head coach, Miss Val.
All right, thank you, Bart. Val, you said heading into Beam, the final rotation, you didn't know math, so you weren't sure, but you thought you were still in it. How did Peng Peng Lee come back and win this thing for you?
You know what? That is Peng's default, and we use her as our example with our team all the time. She wakes up with that mentality. She goes to bed with it. She has no other gear besides excellence, appreciation, and fun. That is her default. So for her to be able to do it on the biggest stage, back-to-back routines, back-to-back championships with 10s, that's her default.
You were crying before seeing her on Beam because it was the last time that we would see her perform as a gymnast. What has she meant to you?
To me, she's been my biggest champion. You know, when I've asked the team to do stuff and they haven't wanted to do it, and I'll explain to her why, she goes and she just gets in their face with this exuberance of, guys, this is why we need to do this. So to have someone get your back 100% of the time, I've known her since she was 10. I went up and recruited Elise Hopper-Hibbs and Leah Homer. She was 10 years old, not giving me the time of day. So it's been 13 years with her. She's old, people. She is old. She's 23 years old. God, what a gift to our sport.
Coming into today, you used the verse Philippians 4:6, talking about no anxiety, talking about being grateful. It was a verse that was important to you when you beat breast cancer. How did that verse and that mantra help you today?
I'm so glad you asked me that, because when I got diagnosed, I heard be anxious for nothing and grateful for all things. I'd never read it. And this morning, I've told myself I'm not getting on social media. I got to keep my energy with my team, not externally. And as nature, as a habit, I opened my phone and I started flipping through Twitter. And the first thing that came up was someone had taken a shot of that verse. And it just, like, my whole world just stopped. Be anxious for nothing and grateful for things. I'm like, I got it. And I shut my phone off, and I just promised that I was going to be grateful for my athletes, for my staff, for everything, for this arena, for the fact that we live in this amazing country and we as females can play sports. I mean, there's so much to be thankful for. And that is the only thing I've looked at on my phone today. And it came up, and I don't even know who posted it. Cool, huh?
Are you going to Disney World with Peng Peng Lee?
I'm going to go to Disney World and any place else she asks me to go with her the rest of her life. That is one amazing human being.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well, can I say an hallelujah and an amen to Miss Val? She just said it all right there. And this has been a true gift to all of us. This entire competition has been amazing and wonderful for the sport, wonderful for women, great for the NCAA.
You know, we knew it would take a mic drop performance for any team to beat the Oklahoma Sooners, and that's exactly what the UCLA Bruins delivered tonight. Let's take a look at the Capital One Cup standings, updated as teams compete for a combined $400,000 scholarship donation from Capital One. Stanford the leader in both men's and women's collegiate sports. What a thrilling night here from St. Louis. UCLA wins its 7th NCAA championship. You can catch the NCAA Women's Gymnastics Championships award ceremony in a couple of minutes on the ESPN app. What an incredible weekend. I was so proud to work with Laura Rutledge and Kathy Johnson-Clark. My name is Bart Connor. So long for St. Louis. An amazing ending to a spectacular year of gymnastics, and we were thrilled to bring it to you.